Hi everyone, it's Gail here with the show and tell that I've been promising. I am going to kind of go through all the different things that I have made while I've been in my sling, including the paper fabric journal covers and the trifold envelopes that are done. Anyway, we are going to go through it all, and I just am going to do a little show and tell. So let's start with the trifold envelope, and this is the one that I had done as my little prototype. That's got the little storybook people on it. And if you didn't see that video, I do have a tutorial on how to make these trifold envelopes on my channel, so check that out. These were the two that we made together, so I'm just going to go through these. This is some awesome eyelash trim from my friend Diane Hubert's Etsy store, Pretty Pink Cottage, that I used to tie this one up. This is the roses one. Let's see, maybe I'll stand up a little bit so I can get this more into the camera. So this is the one that had these insides. Now I haven't put anything in the pockets yet because I've got journals in mind for these particular envelopes, and I'm not sure if I'll want coffee dyed paper or journaling cards or what. So I'm just going to wait on that. The back cover, I used Mrs. Cog's image and some lace. And then, again, this is the Mrs. Cog's image with the doily. And then on the inside, there's this little Mrs. Cog's birds image. And then this is some fabric that came from a friend, Kristen. So I love Mrs. Cog's images for this and for all ephemera, really. It's so great to have such a variety of things that we can choose from to play with. Whoops, sorry, I hit the camera. On the Mrs. Cog's images. So there's that one. Then this one, I used some trim from my friend Shanna. Thank you, Shanna. Yeah, it's really fun yarn. So again, this is the one that we had the dictionary page on, and I've put an owl image and a little bit of lace there. This is one of her botanical images. Also some craft paper behind and a little something there. And then just a little bird image on the inside. And I really like how that one turned out. So if you haven't seen that video and like the product that it produces, then go over and check it out on my channel. So, oh gosh, I almost forgot this. This is my second time doing this. My phone rang, of course, and it cuts off the video when it does that. So, okay, so this was a tutorial that Charlotte Peterson did. And of course, since I'm in a sling, I've had a lot of time to look at YouTube and a lot of tutorials. So then when I felt good, I could go ahead and play a little bit. So she was doing a tutorial on hinges, and she was using her strips of coffee dyed paper that we all accumulate from cutting down our pages to the size that we want. So this one, I just took a coffee dyed file folder and layered on some craft paper and then another Mrs. Cog's image on that one. This one was a 12 by 12 paper that I had cut this strip off of. So I just cut it in half and then put the two together and made a little. Now I might go down this with lace or something, but again, I'm kind of leaving it until I'm actually working on the journal that this will go in, so that I can decide what I want on the inside at that point. Here again, this is another Mrs. Cog's, and this paper was one-sided paper. It was actually out of the Somerset Studio magazine, and so I backed it with coffee dyed paper and then did the hinge and just layered on a little Mrs. Cog's image. This one again was 12 by 12 decorative paper that I hinged, and then put a little Mrs. Coggs, some book page, and some cheesecloth. And I also thought I may want to cut down some coffee dyed paper or use scraps and just sew them down the center too to make a little booklet. I don't know. So this one is, let's see, Cameo Shop image, and then I used a little postcard that I had that was just in my stash and made a little pocket in that one. I'm not sure I'm done embellishing the inside of that one. So those are my little folders inspired by Charlotte Peterson's tutorial on hinges. So made a few of those. And then the next thing, I tried to find the video. I'm almost positive it was Lori, Girl on the Ridge, that did these little pockets where she just took an index card, covered it with muslin. I use coffee dyed muslin. And then embellished it. So I used a background stamp, and I used archival ink in sepia, and then just put some lace on and a little bead charm there with a bulb pin. So yeah, so those turned out cute. I'll show you the rest of them here. These I have earmarked for a journal. This one, I really liked how that came out. Lots of fun layering on that one. This one used some of the trim that I just love from Hobby Lobby with the wooden buttons on it. And then this one I stamped the muslin with my Tiffany & Company stamp, and then put a little charm on it as well. On this one, just was using some parts and pieces of different things that I'd gotten in Happy Mail too, and so that was fun. This one I just rubbed the distress ink over the muslin, and it picked up where it was kind of wrinkled, so I liked how that looked. And then this last one just stamped again, and some fun embellishments. This one from my friend Diane Hubert, I think. So yeah, so I got about a half a dozen pockets done, so that was awesome. All right, and then while we're talking about the bead charms, let me just show you this. This little pot I got from my friend Amelia in a Happy Mail. It came with a saucer, and I just keep it sitting on my desk. Let's see, maybe I can kind of zoom in a little bit on those beads. Move them up a little bit. Goodness, I actually, when I got everything together, I was like, I've done quite a bit this month. So yeah, if you can still wiggle your fingers, you can still craft. That's what I found out. So these are all the bead charms I made. Some really fun ones. Maybe I'll pick out a few to show you more close up. I really liked this one. I think it's the beads that I liked in that one. And this black and white one, I'll show you in a minute the book that it's going to go into. And let's see what else. Oh, this was a pretty bead. And I just ordered some beads from an Etsy shop in the UK. So I'm excited for those to come. Maybe I'll do a little haul video when those come and show you the shop. But yeah, so anyway, just made a bunch of those, so I feel like I have a good bit to work with here. And my thought was, if I could make embellishments and things while I was in the sling, then when I can start making journals again, they'll go faster because I'll have a lot of stuff pre-done, you know. So I have to show you these. I found these when I was digging through my beads to make the charms. These are on safety pins with the little beads attached. I think I got them in an estate sale probably. Anyway, Denise at Practice Makes Perfect on YouTube and A Tattered Dream on Etsy, she has been using these. She said she's bringing the 80s back. She's been using those in her journals, and I thought, oh, those are fun. I'll have to think about using those. So, okay, then the next little project, this was one I did a video on making these envelopes. This was a Charlotte Peterson idea too, I think. And let's see, I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. Sorry. Whoop. There we go. Yeah. So I made this one on the tutorial that I did for these envelopes. This one I used a little Tim Holtz, I think it's fairly new, tissue paper that he has, and I just put it over a book page, and I really liked how it turned out, so I didn't do any more embellishing than that. And this one, I used the background paper. This paper is from Hobby Lobby, but this paper came from Lots of Bubbles for Me. And I used music paper and the Angel's Serenade. And then this is the back with, it's not how much we have, but how much we enjoy that makes happiness. And I love this envelope. I think I might have to keep that. We'll see. We'll see if that'll end up in a journal that I'm selling, but I might just keep it. So let's see what else. Okay, so I also did a tutorial on colorizing your vintage ephemera, and everybody really liked how this postcard came out, so I love that too. And I made all sorts of parts and pieces, and so you can check out that tutorial if you want to. But I made this one afterwards, and this is a Tsunami Rose image it's just on cardstock, you know, not a special paper, and she was all black and white. And so I went in just with my watercolors and just kind of colorize the photo, and I just love how that turned out. I think it's so fun. So wanted to share that with you and let you know that, again, that is a tutorial that is out there if you just search my channel. So I enjoyed that. So lots of fun things to poke into pockets and that sort of thing. Okay, let's pull these over. These two piles. Okay, so one day I decided I needed to try to sew and see how it went. Well, it went all right. I don't know. But I just made some of these paper ribbons, and Diane Shaw, Shawcraft 1 on YouTube, and My Old Barn Door on Etsy, she does these. And I really liked how they turned out. And they're super easy. I mean, you just, you know, fold them up and sew through them with a zigzag stitch. So yeah, I just made a bunch of those to see if I could sew, and I can, but not great. So I think that's going to wait until the sling is gone too. So those, then before I had my surgery, I was talking about making clusters. And I had seen a tutorial on that. Jessica Rapp, 2 Silver Oranges is her name. So I've done a lot of those just to use up scraps and just to be able to do something. So these two I'm going to attach as corner pockets on a journal. I thought that would be cute. And then I just made a bunch of different ones that were kind of fun, and added laces and stuff after doing them. And I think all of these ones, I'm pretty sure these I did during I think maybe this is a new one. But yeah, so I've done some more of those and really enjoyed doing those. Those were something that that I could do when I very first was out of surgery and felt good enough to come to the craft room. And I'm really glad I had this this that I could do. You know, it kind of started me off, I guess I could say. Okay, so those, and then let's see, this pile of stuff. This was a tutorial by Wendy's Journal Adventures, and she just used fabric to put together some Project Life cards and make this little fold out that has coffee dyed paper on one side and then the other papers, and yeah, and that I thought turned out super cute. Love it. So I've only made that one, but definitely want to make more. So that was good. Then there was a tutorial by Patricia Viramontes on YouTube of taking apart an envelope, covering it in this craft paper, distressing it up, and using Tsunami Rose postcards on this side. So I made several of those. I think this was while I was in the Sling. It might have been right before too. I was just digging stuff out of my ephemera box going, okay, what have I made when? So this was a tag that I made when I was doing a friend's page out of a tea bag that, oh gosh, I've done so many of those. I don't know if I'm going to remember who sent that to me. I feel like it was Eve, but I might be wrong. So anyway, that's a tea bag tag. And then I had made, I could decoupage with my Sling hand pretty well. So I decoupaged some of the glassine bags from A Tattered Dream. And this one I attached a little cluster there. Same with these. And yeah, and then this one is kind of a tuck, so that'll be fun too. Just had a little piece of paper left over from one of the Happy Mails, so I made a Hermelinda tag, Hermelinda Aguilar on YouTube. These were from a Happy Mail, and I just punched the sides, inked around them, and they're ready to go. And then this was a little pocket tag I made from the flap of a gallon freezer bag box. And so yeah, made that and just put a little cluster on there too. I used up some of the extra napkin from the Trifold envelopes on another glassine bag. So did all those, and then the other thing that I experimented with was this ephemera, this old ephemera, and putting a light coat on both sides of Mod Podge. I distressed it up first with Distress ink, and then put a little coat of the Mod Podge on it. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the just how it feels is just awesome. I really love that. So I'm going to do more of that. But these were 3 pieces that I had left that Kristen had actually given me. And so that, when I pulled out my beading, I had this piece of fabric that I had beaded around the leaves a long time ago, and it was just sitting in my beading bag. So I attached it to a index card, and then I put fray check around the edges, and I'm going to use this in that nature journal that I'm working on. So there is that. And then last but not least, I got into my unfinished projects bin, and I have this little altered book that I'd been working on for a long time. It's got, oh gosh, am I going to remember the name of this? Polished Lackluster, I believe, is the Tsunami Rose kit that I used in this. And as you can see, it's not completely done, but I did go ahead and put in the pockets some tabbed grid cards that I like to use in the altered books, because then it gives you a lot of places to write. So there's those on the side, they're all sliding down in, and then on the top pockets too. And then I just got the bug to do the cover, and so the cover, I don't know if you can tell, I used crackle paste, and I used the clear over, over this part, and then I used black crackle on the edges, and then I did some stickling. This is a Artie Mays image here, so it came out really cool, and it's just a black book. I put some black rosettes on the, so anyway, loving that. So this is one of the things I am going to do when I do my Etsy grand reopening, which is coming, but I don't know, I think it'll be a couple of weeks. I'm not going to reopen my shop until I can drive, because if stuff is too big to fit in my mailbox, I have no way of getting it to the post office. So that's what I'm waiting for on that. So this will be in there. While I'm talking about that, the other things that are going to be in there is I'm going to add some journaling supplies to my shop. I have a bunch of vintage finds that I'm going to share on my shop. So, and then I think I'm going to have some journals to put on there. So anyway, that's the plan in the next couple of weeks. Okay, last but not least, the fabric paper journal covers. So this is one of them. I guess I'll just show you how they turned out. I've cut them all down to 9 by 12, so they will fit a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper perfectly. And so a couple things one could do on these. You could sew some lace on them. You could fancy cut the corners, whatever. But this is how they turned out. This one, the back, and the layers on layers, you have some of the layers poking through, and there's the fabric on the inside. You have some of the layers that poke through. Let's see, one of the things I wanted to say on this one is I had a couple of gals say, couldn't you use book pages to build up your layers? Yes, you can. And I did on a couple of these. I think actually this was one of them. And you're not going to be able to tell on camera, but this one here is much stiffer than this. This one's a lot more pliable because I just used tissue paper and napkins on it. That's what I prefer, but it does build up the layers quicker when you use book page. So my recommendation would be, if you decide to use book page, only use one layer. Do one layer book page and then start with your napkins. So you have all this layering that you can see through. So anyway, there's this one. Love this. This is with that beautiful tissue paper that I just loved. And then I added some napkin to it too. So there's the inside of that one. This one is that rose napkin that I love, and the inside is that. And then this one is the one with the love napkin. And then it's got the bright flowers on the inside. And let's see, which one was it? I think it was this love one. I had made the surface much bigger than it needed to be, and so I cut off some. So I made just a couple of little tags out of what I cut off, and that worked out great. So there you have it. Again, I'll be doing actually probably a series of videos when I reopen my Etsy because I think there's going to be too much to show for one video. But in the next couple of weeks, that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be working on getting my Etsy store stuff all, I'm going to do the listings in draft and get it all ready to rock and roll when I get the okay to drive. And also in the next week and a half, I'm going to be getting ready for the retreat that I'm hosting here in Montana for junk journalers. And I'll be doing some videos of that too. I will definitely do the videos. I probably won't upload them until I get home because I just don't want to take time away from the retreat to do any of that kind of stuff. So that's what I've got coming up, and I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like my camera is so out of focus. I don't know what happened, you guys. I hope that whole thing wasn't out of focus. Just in case it was, I know I hit my camera when I was doing something. I'm going to show you one more time these covers. I think it might have been out of focus when I did those, but they turn out great, and I'm glad I've heard from a lot of you that you've tried it and had some fun with it, and it is a really fun technique. And you know, depending on the napkin, they just all come out differently. So thanks everybody for watching. I apologize if we went out of focus there for a while. So once again, thanks for all the well wishes, and I'm just so grateful that I was able to do some stuff while I was recuperating from the shoulder surgery. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.